You ever notice how your intuition whispers, but everyone else's opinion screams? You get that little pull in your stomach, that tiny voice in the back of your mind, that feeling that something's off. And instead of listening to it, you override it because someone else sounds more confident than you. And then later, when everything goes wrong, you sit there thinking, I knew it. And you did. You absolutely did. You just didn't trust yourself enough to act on it. Here's the thing most people don't realise. Your intuition isn't dramatic. It's not irrational. It's not overreacting. It's data. It's experience. It's your subconscious noticing patterns before your mind catches up. But a lot of us have been trained to ignore it. We've been taught to be agreeable, to be polite, to not make a fuss, to give people the benefit of the doubt, and to trust others more than we trust ourselves. And over time, that little voice gets quieter, not because it's wrong, but because you've stopped giving it permission to speak. So let's talk about why we ignore it. Because it's not stupidity, it's conditioning. We ignore it because we don't want to upset anyone. We don't want to seem rude. We don't want to seem dramatic. We've been told we're too sensitive, and we've been gaslit in the past. We learn to doubt ourselves. Someone else sounds more sure than we feel, and we want to avoid conflict. We want to be liked. We don't want to be the problem. So we override the signal. We silence the warning. We talk ourselves out of what we feel. And we let someone else's certainty drown out our own discomfort. But here's the truth. Every time you ignore your intuition, you teach yourself that your voice doesn't matter. And the cost of that? You stay in situations longer than you should. You tolerate behaviour you knew wasn't right. You give people chances they didn't earn. You explain away the red flags. You ignore your own boundaries. And you lose trust in yourself. You become dependent on other people's opinions. And you end up saying, I knew it, after the damage is done. Your intuition always speaks first. Your fear speaks second. Your logic, that speaks third. And other people's voices speak the loudest. But your intuition, that's the only one that's actually on your side. So what does it feel like? It's not always a loud warning. Sometimes it's subtle. A tightness in the chest, your stomach dropping, hesitation, replaying something over and over in your mind, feeling off around someone, feeling drained after a conversation. It's overthinking one specific detail. It's a sudden shift in your mood, a quiet, this doesn't feel right, because your body knows before your brain does. And here's the part that people don't talk about. Your intuition doesn't need evidence. It becomes the evidence. So how do you start trusting it again? Well, you pause before reacting. Give yourself the space to hear your own voice. Ask what feels off, not what's wrong with me, but what feels off. Stop outsourcing your decisions. Other people don't live with the consequences. You do. Honour the first signal, not the 10th. Don't wait for the proof. Don't wait for the situation to get worse. And don't wait for someone to hurt you twice. And stop explaining your intuition to people who don't listen. You don't need a PowerPoint presentation to justify a feeling. Let your intuition be enough, because it is. And here's something that might change everything. Your intuition isn't trying to ruin anything. It's trying to protect you from what you can't see yet. It's not the enemy, it's a warning system. And the more you listen to it, the louder it gets, the clearer it gets, the more confident you become, because you start trusting yourself more, and the less you need other people's approval. Because at the end of the day, your intuition was never wrong. You've just been talked out of it. So just remember, you don't need permission to trust yourself. You don't need evidence to honour your intuition. You don't need someone else to validate what you feel. You don't need to justify your discomfort, and you do not need to explain your boundaries. You don't need to silence yourself to keep the peace. Your intuition is there for a reason. It's not a weakness. It's not paranoia. It's not overthinking. It's your inner compass. And it's time you started following it. So I'll leave you with this question. Whose voice have you been listening to instead of your own?